Hello there, this is Elora, and I'm a prequel trilogy kid.
And this is Dave, and I'm an original trilogy kid. And you're listening to What Does Star Wars Mean to You? The show where we talk to all kinds of fans of the franchise, from industry insiders to indie artists, from obsessive mythologists to mega collectors, all for one goal: to take the hate out of the debate by focusing on one fan at a time to find out what does Star Wars mean to you. Plus, it's just fun to chat Star Wars.
Yeah, especially when I make it on time.
Yes.
For our listeners to know, I was late to this recording, and poor Dave was just like sitting here like at a restaurant waiting for his date to arrive.
I had plenty of time to check the menu and look at my socials.
Perfect. Welcome to our Cantina Chatter, a new rebrand there. Dave and I like to deep dive our favorite aspects of our guest interviews and discuss what's interesting to us in the world of Star Wars this week. And if y'all couldn't tell, I'm a bit frazzled. I am pretty heads down in a very big work project with a deadline that's fast approaching. So Dave has created a very fun show today that he's going to kind of bring me along on.
Yes. Yeah, you know, I'm in an odd mood because I saw Hail Mary today.
Oh.
And it is a really excellent movie.
It is it's very existentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one thing
charged.
Charged. Yes. Existentially charged is a perfect description for it. And one quick thing about it is Lord and Miller were on Solo: A Star Wars Story. They were the directors, and then they were fired. And I looked up the date today. It was June 15th, 2017. Which is 6 months after Last Jedi came out. And I really think the reaction to The Last Jedi made Disney very queasy on being too original for Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Yeah.
And I've seen people comment on social media like, hey, these guys did a great job with Hail Mary. Why didn't they stay on Solo: A Star Wars Story? Well, because I think all the hate for Last Jedi really made Disney nervous to do something like that is
people might
more
have liked.
Than... Yes. That was a risk.
I very much agree with that, actually. So, take that, haters. Maybe sit down and don't be so loud.
Don't hate so much. Yeah. and just let things be.
Yeah. As a man recently said to me, don't be so loud. I'm going to say to all of you, maybe don't be so loud.
Did he literally say, don't be so loud?
He literally said, be less loud.
Oh my God. That's so funny because I just discovered the Taylor Swift song, Calm Down or Calm or Be Calm or...
Oh, yeah. You need to calm down.
You need to calm down. And in it is a lyric, you're being so loud. And I thought... When you related the story to me, I really thought, like, after I discovered that song, I thought, oh, maybe she just, like, rephrased what he said, meaning the same thing, just not changing the meaning, just putting it in a Taylor Swift voice. And the fact that he actually said that to you?
What the grown man said to me, yeah.
That is insanity.
Every woman listening to this is like, yeah. Because this is not an original story. But going back to what you were saying, like, I think, it would be interesting to know, like, in the alternate universe where they took on Solo, what does that movie look like? And that's no hate to the current Solo movie, but, like, it would obviously have been a very different creative direction.
Yes, yes. Last week, we had Steve Sansweet in to share what does Star Wars means to him. And it was a great interview. He's such a, ironically, sweet and gracious guest. He runs Rancho Obi-Wan, which houses one of the largest Star Wars collections in the world. He started his collection back in 1977 when he first saw the movie. He's worked for Lucasfilm. In the 90s, he's written books on collecting and on toys. And it was just a fantastic interview. One of the things that stood out for me a lot was I had mentioned that he's such a go-getter. I had said something about like, you always like went after whatever you wanted to do. And asked if he had any advice. And he said, follow your bliss is what he said, which he credited to Joseph Conrad.
Yeah.
Which really was a wonderful circle. And I think if this show works out the way I think, if this episode works out the way I think it is, it's going to be a wonderful circle. But I just thought that was like, I've heard that a lot. Follow your bliss. And it's just advice that's kind of scary to take, I think. Because if you follow your bliss, doesn't that naturally mean you're putting safety behind you? I don't...
Or I think sometimes people get caught up in the expectations of what they should be doing or what they feel they should be doing. I think a lot of times that's like, societal norms or, family pressure or... and sometimes it is like, we don't always get to follow our bliss. Like sometimes, you have to do the job to make the paycheck to feed yourself. Like there's elements of life where like you don't get to do that. And what I loved about his message was like, he was just saying in the ways that you can. Like, don't sacrifice that part of the experience of living. And whatever way that looks like for you and whatever means you have, like to, even if it's just as simple as I think going for a walk every day, follow your bliss. Like, I liked that a lot too.
I really appreciated that viewpoint, and it's actually so great to talk to someone who lived it. He did follow his bliss. He did like he fell in love with collecting Star Wars. He had collect other things earlier, other toys. He was always into toys, and collecting Star Wars for him, not only paid dividends for him, but also gave him like this great experience. Like his one memory where he was talking about revealing the title for Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. That is what a fantastic.
Oh yeah, God, so many of his stories. We could have talked to him all day. I think this is so silly, to pull out because there was so much, but I just loved, there was a few moments where he was just kind of reflecting on like how much he has to be on the hunt all the time for like the things that, he's trying to collect in his very large collection. And he made a comment at one point about how there's just constantly packages arriving at his house.
Yes. Yeah. This week alone, I have 5 packages.
Yeah. And there was just something about that like, there was so much joy in the way he kind of like, I don't know, he delivered it very matter-of-factly because I think this is his norm, but, like, there was a joyfulness in that was his life. Like, yes. That, like, you just kind of, oh, yeah, stuff shows up, and I'm like, oh, right, I got that. Like, that's what, I don't know, I loved that very much. So that's what I'm going to pull out. Because that kind of goes with your follow the bliss thing, I think, which is, like, do the things that make you happy, even if other people don't get it.
Yeah, it must be, like, every day must be Christmas morning at Rancho Obi-Wan. When we talked to Steve, one of the things I found incredibly fascinating was that he was in his 30s when Star Wars came out in 77. And he's probably one of the first person I've talked to who's in their 30s in 77 and became a fan of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, it was like he had the ultimate fan job. Like, he wrote books. That's how I knew him. Like, by the books he wrote for Lucasfilm or for the books that he wrote around the Kenner action figures. So when I started doing research on him, I was shocked to learn that he was a journalist for the Wall Street Journal. I mean, just...
Yeah, I think we both were.
And it wasn't even like, oh, he was a journalist for the LA Times or the San Francisco Chronicler. It was the Wall Street Journal, which seems to me like such a kind of stuffy...
Very highbrow.
Very highbrow. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I approached this data pad, I was like, maybe we just take a look at what was going on in the world in
I love it.
May 25th in 1977.
On a historical journey through time.
Yes. I was a child. I was a wee child. I was just above a toddler. Elora was very much less than a baby.
I wasn't even a sparkle in my parents' eyes yet.
You weren't even a thought.
Oh my God. I think my mother was in high school.
Oh, God. So I figured let's just look at what was going on historically in that time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at the times, and then I'm going to ask you a few questions about what you think the prices of things are.
Okay.
And we'll also look at the top movies of 1977.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what was happening in 1977 when Star Wars came out? Well, the weekend it came out, the number one song on the radio was Stevie Wonder's Sir Duke, which is a fantastic song.
Interesting. Okay.
Earlier that week, on May 17th, the first Chuck E. Cheese's opened in San Diego. So, it was
never updated again. I don't know if you've been in one. They never remodeled. They never rebranded. It's still the same staff.
Then, a few days later, at Disneyland, Space Mountain opened and became
shit.
Shit.
Oh, wow.
I think it's kind of funny. Again, the idea of the circle coming back around to one of Disneyland's biggest rides opened this weekend. Eventually, one of Disneyland's biggest IPs would be was released.
So it's been breaking back since 1977.
Yes, since 1977, allegedly.
Allegedly. All of these are alleged.
Yeah, all of these are alleged. Look, we are a hobby podcast, so if some of our facts are wrong, I just have to say, file that away in the circular file at the edge of your desk.
Yeah.
So,
what else is going on?
Some political events of the time.
Okay.
President Carter was working on the energy crisis and policy. He was pushing for a major energy program, arguing with oil companies over consumer costs. And this led to the creation of the Department of Energy in 77.
Oh, okay.
So, energy crisis then, energy crisis now.
Yeah, I was going to say, worked out really well for us.
Yeah. Anita Bryant in Miami-Dade, Florida, back in 1977, she had this crusade against gay rights and was looking to repeal a gay rights ordinance.
Fuck you,
and this sparked nationwide protests, including a 200,000-person march in San Francisco.
Wow.
Yeah. Also going on, conservative backlash against the feminist movement intensified, focusing on opposing the Equal Rights Amendment in the National Women's Conference, which was planned for later that year.
Well, women can be loud.
Women can be loud. Exactly. It's all circle. And one of the things that I believe the Equal Rights Amendment did was allow women to apply for a credit card without having their husband co-sign for it.
That's right. And that is very recent in our human history.
Very recent in our right? I find that almost dismaying, even though it's 50 years ago. It's only 50 years. I mean, we had electricity, we had air conditioning.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, we're too loud and we can't handle money. I mean...
But so those are just three examples of things going on with the energy crisis.
So not a lot's changed is what you're trying to tell me.
So not a lot has changed, yeah. The other thing is, in the 70s, in the late 70s, high inflation hit. Really... the cost of things doubled. But in 77, we were just before this inflation crisis. I thought we were going to be... Pardon?
I didn't know that, actually.
I think it may have been going on, and I'm just thinking about gasoline. Because I looked up, because I saw the price of a gallon of gasoline. So we'll start with that. What do you think the cost of a gallon of gas was in 1977?
1977, we were dealing with an energy crisis. I have this tidbit of knowledge that inflation was high, but it probably wasn't 2026 high, so I can't possibly base it off of today. I'm going to go with $4.50.
It was 62 cents.
Oh my God, shut up.
Yeah, a gallon of gas was 62 cents. It wasn't until about 81 where it really doubled to $1.17.
Isn't it $6 a gallon right now?
Yeah, it's like $6 a gallon right now.
I thought I was safe at $4.50. What the? I was born in the wrong decade. Oh my God.
Yeah.
No wonder y'all could afford to buy houses. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, okay. So what do you think a movie ticket was? If you were in line to go see Star Wars in 1977, what do you think you clunked down for one movie ticket?
Well, okay, now that I know what gas was 62 cents a gallon during an inflation, I'm going to guess the movie ticket was like 50 cents.
It was $2.23 is the national average. So probably about $2.25.
Okay.
Now,
I see. I see what I did there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Gas was super cheap. That's why we're addicted to it. It was so cheap. It's like 10-cent cigarettes, but now they're like at $10 a pack. It's crazy.
Gun to my head, I couldn't tell you how much a cigarette cost in any decade. That's so funny.
I could.
Yeah.
I actually right now I drive past a sign that's like Marlboro Blacks, $10 a pack. And I'm like, oh my God. I remember when they went up to like $3 a pack. And I was like, this is getting too expensive. That was like 96.
That killed the hobby.
No, unfortunately, the hobby didn't die until much later. But
no, that's fair.
Let's see. What do you think a dozen eggs cost in 1977?
$2.25. I'm gonna say.
Now, remember, I will give you this hint. Eggs were considered a staple and were not considered expensive until now.
Okay. A dozen
so one
eggs.
dozen eggs.
I'm going to say $1.25. I'm going to go down from a movie ticket a little bit.
That's really close. Is it? 82 cents.
Oh my God, I almost said 75 cents. Oh, I'm so mad. Okay.
82 cents for a dozen fresh eggs.
I'm doing so bad at this. Okay.
That just gives you a really broad sense of costs back then.
Oh my God. I'm trying to think of I think my grocery bill is $200 every time I go to the store, and we're only two people. And it's not like we're eating, filet mignons. I'm shopping at Trader Joe's, y'all.
Well, also the other thing is, $2.23. A price of a movie ticket is now 10 times that.
Oh, it cost us, let's full circle, since we're on the full circle theme this episode. We went and saw Project Hail Mary twice in theaters because it was that good of a movie. Both times in IMAX because it was a space movie. You have to see it in IMAX. $100.
Oh my God. Oh.
For us to do that. It was $50 each night we did that.
Wow.
That was just to get asses in seats. That wasn't anything else.
Yeah. It wasn't It wasn't the $9 M&Ms.
No. Well, I sneak stuff in, let's be real.
Yes.
My purse is always slightly bulkier when I go to a movie theater. And occasionally there's vodka in my icy. Yeah.
Whenever I sneak candy in, I'm always concerned because I love the M&M. I like the loud candy in the boxes that are chica, 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 chica. So let's look at the movies of the year. Now, Star Wars was the number one movie of 1977. Obviously. I think, kind of obviously. It made about $100 million box office in the United States than the number two movie of 1977, which was Smokey and the Bandit.
I've never seen that.
I'm not too surprised. I mean, why would you? It's a fun movie. Is it?
Okay.
Yeah, but do you have to see it? Probably not. I mean, the number 3 is a movie I would say you have to see. And the number 3 movie was Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. Yeah.
Which was one of Spielberg's first.
And you're saying Star Wars? I think it is. Yeah.
Oh no, Jaws was one of Spielberg's first.
But you said one of the first. You didn't say the first.
That's fair enough.
No, I think it was one of the first. You're saying Star Wars was 100 million more than the rest of the movies on this list?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Star Wars made $221 million. And then I'll quickly go through the other 7 movies that were there.
Yeah.
The top 10. We have Star Wars, Smokey and the Bandit, Close Encounters of the Third Kind in the top 3. Number 4, Saturday Night Fever. Number 5, The Goodbye Girl. And The Goodbye Girl also stars Richard Dreyfuss, who was in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So Richard Dreyfuss had this weird, like,
Great
super
year.
summer. Yeah. A Bridge Too Far, The Deep, The Spy Who Loved Me, which is a James Bond film.
Deep came out the same year.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Deep. Oh God, and Annie Hall.
Okay.
And in the number 10 movie of the year, Annie Hall made $38 million. So Star Wars almost made like 7 times as much as Annie Hall.
Wow.
But one of the things, like, this is what talking about the circle.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I felt like. To be honest, when I first started writing all this out, I was like, why am I just doing a podcast that lists out facts? Like, it's just
I think it's interesting.
But here's the thing. As I listed them out, as I explored them, I really did feel this idea of a circle. And we do know that, like, existence is cyclical, or at least current existence is cyclical, in the sense that we have inflation. We have an energy crisis. We have, for lack of a better term, and I apologize for saying it this way, we have a gender crisis. Well, that's a terrible way of saying it. We have an inability to agree to just let people be who they are.
Well, there's these biases that are dictating policy.
Yes. And those, there are marches today. There were marches then. And you know, with Star Wars being all about hope, I do find that there's hope there in the feeling that, you know, we all, like they say in Lord of the Rings. Frodo said in Lord of the Rings, "I wish it need not have happened in my time." To which Gandalf replied, "So do I. And so do all who live to see such time. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us." And I feel like that, knowing people went through such terrible time and survived, and we did move forward. We moved back, but we did move forward. That there might be hope for us to live through this. And move forward, not only live through it, but move forward through it.
Yeah.
Which also takes me back to, in the novelization of Star Wars, A New Hope, or I think it's called The Life and Adventures of Luke Skywalker. Star Wars, The Life and Adventures of Luke Skywalker, the novelization of the movie. There's a quote at the beginning of it. That's taken from Journal of the Wills. And it's a quote from Princess Leia. And she said, "They were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Naturally, they became heroes." And, like, if a farm boy and a smuggler and a princess and a walking carpet can do it, and be in the wrong place at the wrong time and still be heroes, doesn't that mean we could still be heroes?
Oh, wow. What a lovely way to, like, reflect on the past. It's funny, like, everyone's so much more online, right?
Yes.
Than ever before. And I don't even just mean, like, you know, comparative to the 70s, because obviously, I mean even just, like, since the beginning of the pandemic. Like,
yes.
Like, the creation of TikTok, like, all of these new social media platforms, like, all this AI is out there, like, everyone's so plugged in and so aware of what's going on around the world. And I think that we're in this crisis right now where we have more information about the world and other humans' experiences around the world and all of the ongoings than we ever did before at such rapid succession, immediately when we want it, when we tune in.
Yes.
If we're looking at, like, the state of the world in the 70s, you know, you weren't probably aware of what was going on across the country, you know, much less across the world, until you read it in the news. Unless you had people who were, you know, impacted or involved in your life. And I think...
Even then, it may take weeks to get a letter.
Oh, well, you guys
I'm just assuming. Or the phone, yeah.
You had a rotary phone. But so I think there's this, like, sadness, and I think that there's this melancholy and even a depression right now where there's just, like, it's so bad and it's never going to get better and everything's wrong and we're all kind of fucked. And I feel like that's the energy you see a lot. But when you look backward, like, it's the same stuff. different font. Like you pick your decade and then compare it. And so
True.
So I don't know, I love this idea of kind of reflecting at the state of the world then to now, and it's not really ever the wrong place. It just kind of is the human experience.
We could be heroes.
But we could be heroes. I like that.
Okay, so we're going to do a new segment that I'm right now title Dave's Dark Side. And it's just... What?
I said I'm deceased. I'm talking like a Gen Z. Go ahead.
And in this, it's just a chance for either one of us. I mean, we can do Elora's Dark Side too. Just to quickly give a critique on something Star Warsian. This week, Disney announced the characters Han Solo and Princess Leia being at Batuu. And
I know where this is going. You sent me a TikTok the other day.
No, and there's nothing wrong. I have a problem with recreating live action actors in an environment like Disney where they're supposed to be the characters. Like, here's the thing. When you have Chewbacca, Boba Fett, Darth Vader, Stormtroopers, Yoda, Baby Yoda, Mandalorian, the masks hide everything. Like, you're just like, that's the character.
Yeah.
But when you have an actor playing Han Solo, that's not Harrison Ford or the guy who played him in Solo, the young one, it takes me out of the experience. Just seeing it takes me out of the experience. The other thing, this is the other thing I thought about, was that when you're there, you're, in my head, when I'm there, if I were ever to get there, I'm the hero. And Chewbacca, R2-D2, C-3PO, Darth Vader, Stormtroopers, they're all the NPCs in my I'm the hero world. Mm-hmm. But then you bring Han Solo in and I'm like, I'm no longer the hero. Like,
oh, interesting. That's a good perspective.
Yeah. And again, no hate to these actors.
God,
not
no,
at all.
Like, interesting. My response to the being taken out of it because they don't look like the actors, I agree, except I saw Rey recently, and it was a very close Rey, and I was like, I actually did a double take and wondered if it was one of those situations where like Johnny Depp was, and then no one was noticing. I was like, is that Daisy Ridley? It wasn't. At least I don't think so. But I also think about the children, because they're not going to be as
We're talking about Star Wars. This has no place for children. What are you talking about? This is for me. I'm a 50-year-old white man.
Being kids, and like, I don't think if I were 8, I would have necessarily recognized that it wasn't Harrison Ford. I think I would have seen the persona.
You'd see Han Solo,
and I would have seen Han Solo. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I retract. You're right.
No, because your point's valid, because it's an experience for all. And if that pulls you out, that pulls you out. I think your point, though, is stronger to say that, like, the people in Batuu should be the heroes of the story. That's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to concede this dark side and move to the light side. You're right.
I brought you to the light.
You brought me to the light.
Wow. That doesn't happen often, y'all. Sometimes Dave gets on a tangent, and I just am like, LOL.
So that's what Star Wars means to us this week. I just said so again.
That was our Cantina Chatter.
Next week, we have DB from Hyperspace Heroes. It's a podcast that features 3 Gen 1 Star Wars fans just trying to make their way in the Star Wars podcast universe. They cover all kinds of science fiction and nerd culture. They have guests, including lots of Star Wars authors, actors, filmmakers, other podcasters, including us. And this is the 3rd co-host from Hyperspace Heroes we've talked to. We've talked to Scruffy a couple weeks ago, and we talked to Brown Leader, I think, last year.
Yeah, yep.
And so this is DB.
He's a huge collector himself. So if you enjoyed Steve Sansweet's, like, talking about his collection, you'll enjoy hearing from DB, too. Yeah.
So until then, may the Force be with you.
And with you.
So last week we had Steve Sansweet. Did you notice I start every paragraph with so? It's something, as I edit the show, I realize I say so a lot.
I've never noticed that, but that now I probably will.
Yes.